Hi, my name's Mark, one of the pastors here at Trillium. One of the things I most like about working at Trillium is that we have an Easter sunrise service. And by sunrise, I mean sunrise. This last Sunday, it was at 6:30 a.m. because the sunrise technically was at 6:40. We adjust it according to the time of year. And on Easter, there's something hauntingly beautiful about being out in nature right at that moment. Kind of the moment between darkness and light, between death and life. I think people come out to the service that early because they want to connect with something in the reenactment. And it has something to do with the light. You know, we have 3 vision systems. One designed for daylight, when there's color and wonder about it. Normal, we might call normal vision. We also have 2 other kinds of vision systems. One designed strictly for darkness. We actually are able to see in black. Not very well, not like an owl or a cat, but we can see in black. We don't get to use it very often because of all the ambient light that we live in. And then there's this 3rd vision system that we have designed for dusk and dawn. The transition from darkness to light or from light to darkness. And in that moment, we get to see in black and white or in gray. And if you've ever been out hiking on the trail, say at dusk, and you see the light starting to diminish and the color especially diminishing, there comes a moment when it seems as if no color at all. And we're just seeing in the different tones of light. And it's a beautiful moment. It's a hauntingly beautiful moment. That transition from darkness to light, or light to darkness. We recognize that moment as also an ephemeral place, a more intangible place. In human imagery, it's that zone between wakefulness and sleep, the zone of dreams. Women get up early on Easter morning, on the Sunday, just before the dawn, even the first emanations of light. They have to get to the tomb. They have this passion to move at first, very first light, and they move in this zone between darkness and light, between death and life. And they go to the tomb to anoint Jesus' body for burial. And in that crack, in that 3rd way of seeing, in that moment, there's an explosion of light as they approach the tomb. There's an angelic epiphany, and they recognize the voice of the angel speaking to them. He says, you're making a mistake looking for Jesus. He's not here. He's alive. And he instructs the women to tell the disciples to meet Jesus in Galilee. And they retreat from that place, in that crack between darkness and light, between death and life, in wonderment, fear, amazement. And they actually meet Jesus as they retreat from the tomb, who says the same things to them as the angel did. And in that moment, life is changed. Jesus had come in the first place to reconnect us with God's voice. The communication between God and as creator and us as created had broken down completely. That's what the Old Testament's about. He'd come to restore that connection of communication with God, and yet we end up as human beings nailing him to a cross and breaking down forever, it seems, that communication possibility with our creator. And God's voice is lost to us again. I wonder if it's not possible that we have different ways of listening, in the same way that we have different vision systems, different hearing systems. I mean, we understand about listening to respond. Yeah, we do that all the time. We don't really focus on the listening part, but on the response. Sometimes we're invited just to simply listen. But there may even be divine ways of listening that we don't even recognize. It just comes and goes so quickly. We are called in the resurrection of Jesus to understand that God's commitment to communication with us is irrevocable. It can't be changed. God will not be thwarted in God's determination to communicate with us. And the invitation in this moment between darkness and light, between death and life, is to listen in new ways. Just like we can see in many different ways, we can listen. And God's voice is not lost.